Hello, this is Kench again. I'll be going over a recent match I had with Stompy against Infect, which is a deck I've had problems with before, mainly because I didn't really approach it in the correct way, and I think I've adjusted my mindset on how to do this. Now, obviously, before the match started, I didn't know I was going against Infect, so looking at this hand, I think I kept it. 4 lands is a little dicey. I'm going first though, and I do have a play, and I have 2 creatures. I figured to draw into something. I probably did not mulligan this, and my opponent mulliganed to 5, which makes me feel pretty good. So we'll just I think for most of my Stompy playing that if I have a Nettle Sentinel in my hand, it's almost always going to be Forest Nettle Sentinel. I can't imagine another play. All my 1-drops are either the Pit Skulk, the Sentinel, or the Carrion Ranger, and Carrion Ranger can't really do her stuff on the first turn, so I really don't think there's any other play. If you have Sentinel, it makes things pretty easy on your brain. So this is the first thing that I was just absolutely... I didn't really know the deck lists. So dropped a Forest and played Gitaxian Probe. So I was thinking, what green deck, green-blue maybe, plays Gitaxian Probe? Weird. It struck me as odd, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So all right, okay. And it plays a Glistener Elf, so we're going to have... This is going to be a Infect deck. Infect does damage by -1/-1 counters on creatures and poison counters on players, which I wasn't really used to a while back. But if you get 10 poison counters on a player, that player is dead. So it basically shortens the game a little bit. Now, Infect a while back was fairly powerful because of a card called Invigorate. I can't really get back to my collection to show Invigorate at the moment. But Invigorate basically was a 2 mana, 1 green, so 2 plus a green, so 3 casting cost. Pump spell for a creature would give a creature +4/+4, but if you control the forest, you can cast it for free if you gave your opponent 3 life, which in an Infect deck is completely meaningless. So that was a very powerful spell. Obviously, it's been banned in Pauper, so that's not going to happen to me. But there's still some crazy pump spells. So since the Gitaxian Probe is thing, Mutagenic Growth will be out there probably. And there's a Llanowar Augur that this deck tends to play, which I think you'll see next turn. So in my other games against Infect I had with Stompy, I didn't really know what I was doing. I made bad blocks. I didn't respect how much pump they could do. There's another creature that I didn't see in this match, but it's a mirror creature that gets +2/+2 and trample if it gets blocked, which is kind of nasty. But I think I just figured out how to handle this a little bit better. And that generally means I don't mind trading creatures. I'm going to have more creatures, better creatures, and I just want to keep those counters off me. So it's clear he's definitely not going to... he's not going to block here. So I do this to power up my Pit Skulks. So I got a pretty nice board going here. And he probes me again. Not sure why he did that. Because if you look, I mean, I could have only drawn one card, and it's right here. So this to me is kind of a waste. But I guess he's trying to draw cards, is what's really going on here. But he's down to 14. I've only hit him once. Llanowar Augur. So the deal with the Augur is that if you sacrifice it, a target creature gets +3/+3 and trample till the end of the turn. But you can only use it during your upkeep. So on the one hand, it's pretty powerful, especially in Infect. But on the other hand, it totally telegraphs when the other guy thinks he might have the ability to alpha strike you. So clearly, it's not going to be this turn, and I'll know when he thinks he can get away with attacking when he sacrifices the Augur. There's just no other reason. So it gets completely telegraphed. On the other hand, though, I've had games where the guy had like 3 Llanowar Augurs, and you're just like, well, hope I have an answer. So it's a little bit of a, I don't know, it's powerful, but you can see it coming pretty far away. And of course, he was not going to attack. So, as long as I can come back with a blocker. So right now I don't, if he had, well, he played the Augur this turn. Things you worry about when he's tapped out like this is mutagenic growth, which you can just pay for with life, and it gives you +2/+2. And he can't straight up kill me, even if he has 4 in his hand right now. And I don't know what other pump spells these guys play, but he just doesn't have a whole lot of mana to work with. So I figure as long as I have a blocker, I'll be okay. And if I have a spell, I could always untap things, and I'm not really worried about it too much. And these guys, the Pit Skulks can't be blocked by his team right now, since they are 2/2, and none of these guys have the power to block them. So I think just swing with everything here, unless I kept something back. I don't remember. Oh yeah, I kept the Sentinel just in case something crazy went on. Because he could block this and put a counter on it and probably do something else, but I doubt that he will. I just think I was just playing this a little safe. Okay, so he sacrificed the Augur, so he's coming, right? There's no other thing he could be doing. He's attacking. That's just without a doubt. And I think this is a mistake what he's about to do. He plays Groundswell now. Why do you play Groundswell now? Now I can make my decisions pretty openly. I mean, maybe he thinks I'm stupid and won't account for mutagenic growth and just let him through or something like that. Oh, hey, yeah, great. But you should at least wait for combat. I mean, he's got trample already. And here he comes. So, I have a Vines of Vastwood in hand. And the mana to kick it. So, that's a good thing. If I double block with the Sentinels, I certainly... Okay, let's just assume, for example, that he has... I mean, the safest thing to assume right now is he's tapped out and that he's got 4 mutagenic growths in his hand. Which seems to be crazy. That would give him 8/8. That would be a 14/14 here. So I would need to double block, and then actually no, because I don't need to double block, because if he did all the mutagenic growths, this would be a 14/14, and I could block here, and that now he's spilling over 12, but my Vines of Vastwood kicked gives me +4/+4, so I would only take down to 8, and then he'd be down to 2 life and would just die on the swing back. So thus that means I can single block. That's the thing about the Stompy. You end up doing all this math. If you're not comfortable doing addition and subtraction, it's probably not the deck for you, but I definitely figured out that I could single block and survive, even if he had his nuts hand. So let's hope I do what I just said, and yes, I did single block. And he doesn't pump, and I let it go. I mean, he's gonna die no matter what. But now he has no way to. I just kill him on the swing back now. I have 6 power now, and I have 4 in Vines of Vastwood. So that's why the Llanowar Augur, I think, is a little telegraphing. It probably would have helped him too if he had had more than 1 forest, but again, he mulliganed to 5, so he probably just didn't get a very good draw. So that wins that game, right? So that was important. I couldn't let that go in by itself. If it did, there's a chance I could have lost, and I did not want to do that. So let's go to game 2. And now that I know I'm playing against Infect, I've sighted in Fog, I think 3 copies of it, and taken out. Trying to remember what parts of my deck I took out. I had I might have taken out 2 River Boas, and I don't remember exactly what I did, but I did sight in the Fogs. That's all I really was worried about. If I could draw a Fog, then I didn't really. When he did his Alpha Strike, when he sacrifices an Augur, and if I had a Fog, he'd just be in bad shape. I don't think there needs to be a whole lot of sideboard in this matchup, as long as I draw the creatures. Especially Young Wolf here is going to be a star. He's a very good blocker. As long as you're not talking about some trample, you'll be okay. So if he wants to try to chip at you, you could just throw the Young Wolf out there. And I think I just kept this. And my opponent kept 7 this time, so that's good for him. Glistener Elf, turn 1. Just throw a Young Wolf out there, right? And double Rancor in hand. This is very good for me. This is an incredible card, especially when you're not playing a deck that when you're playing a deck that doesn't have counters. A deck with counters, you got to be careful. You don't want to get it countered, but if you can land it, it just keeps coming back. Beautiful thing. So I'm sure he doesn't want to attack here. Llanowar Augur, the Telegraph Master. So, what do we play here? I try to get greedy and do a lot of damage, but I wanted to be able to play the Kyrion Ranger, because this is a very useful card in situations like this. I'll be able to swing with my creatures and on the attack be able to untap them so they can block again. So I think what my play here is going to be Forest, Rancor on the Young Wolf, swing, play Kyrion Ranger, and say go. Yep. So now you swing. He certainly doesn't want to block with anything. So he does not sacrifice the Augur. So now, doesn't that tell you that, well, he's not, doesn't have the cards for the Alpha Strike? I mean, this thing is like a big signpost. And unless the deck is really, 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 really powerful, I think this just gives away so much information. It's a nice card, but in this particular deck, I think that I just get, as an opponent, I get way too much information from it. Yeah. So if he attacks, you know, it's fairly simple here that I'll trade with you. So I think I untap the young wolf here and block with it and make him do some stuff. Or no, actually I let him go on this one because I knew he didn't have... There's no way he could do 10 damage to me. At least I didn't think he would. Certainly, I think his only pump spells are the Augur, and of course I had to look at a deck list here, but the Augur and the Mutagenic Gross, and at most he could have hit me for 9, which would have been bad, but I just didn't think he was going to do anything, so that's why that went down. I mean, I think that is the correct play. So yeah, double ranker on the young wolf. I don't want to get too greedy, because if I can get through here, I mean, if for whatever dumb reason he decides to block the young wolf, well, he couldn't do that. I just didn't want to get greedy with a Groundswell. I wanted to leave the mana up for the Shinin. I just more bottom in to absorb a pumped up Glistener Elf. Plus, by doing the math, I didn't have enough. I don't think. 8, 13. Yeah, I wouldn't have enough to kill him. And, you know, he could have other tricks. He left mana up this time, which is, I mean, he didn't use any. Makes me a little suspicious. So we swing and he plays Fog. Now, I don't know if he needed to do it then, but I guess he didn't want to leave mana untapped. Or this means he has got more than one. Don't know. It's hard to say. It just seems like an odd time to play Fog there. He was only taking 7. I don't know. I don't know what his hand is, so... Although later on I could probably reconstruct it, but... So play the Shinin. Now the thing about the Shinin as well is that if it stays alive, next turn I could force the Glistener Elf to die, basically, or make him use pump spells in defense. Because if he attacks the Glistener Elf for whatever reason, and let's just say for whatever reason these two are, he's tapped, and I'm coming in, I can untap it with Karen Ranger to force him to block. But he sacrifices the Augur. So, alright. So he clearly has a spell. He just doesn't want to do this for a 4/4. And this time he doesn't pump before combat. So I definitely gonna untap the Young Wolf. And he's got 5 cards in hand. I'm at 1. I mean, if he has 4 mutagenic gross, that goes to 12. That's how big that thing can get. And I can absorb 4 with the team. But I don't think... I don't remember how I blocked this. I think I blocked it at least with Young Wolf and Shinin. I might have left the Kyrian Ranger back because it's really important for me to keep a creature. Yeah. So if he has the 4 mutagenic gross, so be it. You know, he's gonna deal lethal. But I do force him to so you know he's out of mutagenic gross, right? So, or I think he is. Would he use another one? Why would he use another one? Well, if he used another one, he would kill me, right? So he doesn't have a... So he had vines and mutagenic growth. But he doesn't have another one in his hand. If he did, he would play it and win. But he had to do this basically to make sure he still had a creature. So, you know, maybe I should have blocked the Kyrian Ranger there, now that I look at it. Because I would get the Young Wolf back either way. But then I wouldn't have a way to block unless I could... If I would not... Did I just draw this? Is it my draw step? No, it's still my... So this is what I have in hand. 4... I have a Groundswell, so 8... 10, 12, 14, 14, but I can't play all of them on the next turn. So I definitely need to have a blocker. I think I had to keep the Kyrian Ranger back, because this way I can attack and then I could kick this back and get the Young Wolf as a blocker again. Since I don't think he has any pump spells. I mean, he could draw one. So I think the play here is to... Well, let's see. So I think that blocking was right by keeping the Kyrian Ranger back. And now I have another Kyrian Ranger, so this is good. So I'm going to want to play Forest. Rancor. Kyrian Ranger. And maybe keep Groundswell up, just in case, I think. Is that what I did? Because I can't do lethal here. Can I? Can I do lethal? No, because I can only do... At most I can do 13. Yeah, I can't do lethal, so I need to keep a blocker back, and it would be nice to keep Groundswell to help. So I think that's what I do. So I think I play Rancor on the Young Wolf swing and play a Kyrian Ranger. Well, I did that. Oh, okay, maybe I just kept the Kyrian Ranger and kept the mana up. Oh, wow. So I'm going to assume he can only draw one mutagenic growth. Because he didn't have any. He has none in his hand. So those 3 spells could either be forests, could be vines. If it vines, I'm in trouble here. Big, big trouble. Because I can only absorb 4. Well, if it's a vines, as long as, yeah, see. Yeah, I'm thinking I should not have did what I did there. Seems a little gambly. He still needs 2 pump spells to kill me. And he doesn't have a mutagenic growth, so he needs to have a vines in hand. And that would cost him 2 mana. And then draw the mutagenic growth. And that would give him up to 7. And I would die. Yeah. But he does this. Blight Mamba. Why do you play this before attacking? And then he swings. Okay, this is silly. Now the only thing he could play is the 1 mutagenic growth here. If he drew it. And that would knock him down to 5. So if he has 1 mutagenic growth, he's doing 3. So I need to block for 2. So I can either just block straight up with the young wolf, or 2 of the Kiron Rangers, but I think I just untap the young wolf and block him. Or maybe I even double blocked. Which I don't think is necessary. Oh, that seems a little overdone. But if he no, it just means I win. There's no way I could screw this up now, because if he plays the mutagenic growth, it's going to cost him 2 life. He'll be down to 5. He can only kill 2 of these, and then whichever one's left over, I am going to have double Rancor and Groundswell, activated Groundswell. So that's right there. That's 9 damage coming in. He just is not gonna. Yeah. But again, I could have just simply blocked with the 1 wolf. Or this. I think, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think you could screw this up. I mean, I think it's a clear win, but in a closer situation, if I do the math, I probably should just sit there and let the young wolf die and keep the rangers. In this case, I'm letting him make the decision, but he did draw the mutagenic growth. It's too late! Too late! So you have a 1/1 left, but it's all dying. Nine 5 Kiron Ranger incoming. Alright, so that's, again, I don't know if this is a well-made Infect deck, but it's pretty much what I've seen before. And they have no card draw. They will try to chip away at their own life, trying to get their big attack through. But I think because as long as I can, if I'm not shy about blocking, which I normally am with Stompy, but in this particular case you have to do a lot of blocking. And just, pay attention to what they're doing with the Llanowar Augur, because that's just a big telegraph pole as far as I'm concerned. And even when they're tapped out, know that they can do 8 more damage with trample. Well, it doesn't give them trample, does it? Does mutagenic growth get trample? Nope. But the Llanowar Augur does, so that's the deal. All right, so that was Infect.